What if I told you that what we know as reality could be collapsing in on itself? That we may be slipping through a tear in the space-time continuum, merging with alternate versions of ourselves and our world. If this sounds like the plot of a science fiction film, it is actually closer to reality than you might think. Scientists have theorized about parallel universes for decades, but some believe we already have evidence of their existence. And strangely, it has to do with memories. Welcome to my channel. And today, let's investigate the Mandela Effect, which could be a clue to a parallel universe. Do you need the big questions answered? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe for more clips like this one and ring the bell for more thought-provoking content? In 2009, a term known as the Mandela Effect began to make the rounds online. It was named after Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison for his activism against South Africa's oppressive regime. As the world's most famous political prisoner, he became a beacon of hope and freedom. So when he died on December 5, 2013, it was a global event. Billions of people heard the news that the iconic leader had passed away at age 75. Or did they? A small but vocal group of internet users claimed that Mandela had never been imprisoned, and that he was very much alive. Now, obviously, this was not true. The media quickly dismissed it as a baseless conspiracy theory. But then something strange happened. As more and more people began sharing their memories of an alternate timeline on social media, the Mandela Effect became a viral sensation. More than 70% of those surveyed said they remembered Mandela being imprisoned, and almost 30% believed he was still out there somewhere. Was this just a case of mistaken identity? Or could it be evidence of a parallel universe? While the Mandela Effect was named after the former president, it was not the first time such a phenomenon had occurred. In 2008, fans of the classic sitcom Friends recalled an episode featuring a character stating, "We were on a break." This turned out to be a fabricated memory, as no such episode existed. There were, however, other instances of the show where Monica and Chandler decided to take a break from their relationship. But viewers had conflated these two separate events into one. Similarly, many people also misremembered the Berenstain Bears as the Berenstain Bears. But ask any child who grew up reading the beloved series, and they will tell you that the name has always been spelled B-E-R-E-N-S-T-E-I-N. So what exactly is going on here? One explanation is false memory, which occurs when an individual recalls an event or detail incorrectly. This can happen due to a number of factors, including leading questions or a desire to conform to a popular narrative. However, false memory does not account for the vast number of people who all shared the same misremembered details. This brings us to the Mandela Effect, a term coined by Fiona Broome, a paranormal researcher from California. According to Broome, the Mandela Effect is a phenomenon in which large groups of people collectively misremember past events. The Mandela Effect derives its name from the widespread belief that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 1980s, when in reality he was released in 1990 and lived until 2013. Broome believes that the Mandela Effect is evidence of a shifting consciousness, a theory she outlined in her book, The Mandela Effect: 100 Years of Coincidence. According to Broome, the Mandela Effect can be triggered by a major event, such as the death of a public figure, which causes the collective consciousness of humanity to split and create alternate realities. But how does this explain our shared false memories? Well, according to Broome, the only way to trigger the Mandela Effect is by entering a parallel universe. In this alternate reality, the event is remembered differently because it happened differently. So if everyone starts remembering things differently, that could be proof that we are jumping between parallel universes. So what other clues can we look to that suggest that we are traversing between multiple dimensions? The Mandela Effect is not just confined to recent events. It also extends to historical moments, which brings us to the next potential clue, the missing D in We the People. When looking at the United States Constitution, specifically the preamble, there should be a D in We the People. For over 200 years, the document clearly stated, "We, the people of the United States," in order to form a more perfect union. But apparently nobody noticed until recently. Many people who claim to have read the document numerous times as part of their civic duty or as students studying American history insist that it always had a D in We the People. Others who have also read the document many times assert that the D was never there. To add to the confusion, there are copies of the original document that include both versions of the preamble. While historians debate the authenticity of these copies, it is clear that the original handwritten version also contains a missing letter. As Thomas Jefferson and James Madison drafted the Constitution in 1787, they wrote "We the People" at the top of a list of proposed amendments. But when the list was incorporated into the final text of the Constitution, the phrase became "We the People of the United States." While the missing D is a source of much debate, there are also several historical figures who appear to have been forgotten. In the popular imagination, the legendary King Arthur is said to have ruled Britain in the 5th century. According to legend, he pulled the sword Excalibur from a stone and assembled the Knights of the Round Table. but recent research is cast doubt on the historical accuracy of these tales. While there is evidence that a man named Arthur may have lived in Britain during the 5th or 6th century, there is no proof that he was a king or that he performed any supernatural feats. What's more, the stories surrounding King Arthur may have originated from a misremembered version of events in an alternate timeline, where he did indeed rule as a great leader. Ancient Rome was one of the most powerful civilizations in the ancient world. But how much do you really remember about it? In school, you probably learned about the Roman Empire, which lasted from 27 BC to 476 AD. But recent research suggests that the Roman Empire may have been established much earlier. According to historian Chris Kelly, the Roman Empire actually began in 1300 BC and lasted until 1900 AD. While this may sound like a far-fetched theory, it is supported by archaeological evidence showing that Rome was inhabited as early as 1000 BC. This could mean that our memories of ancient Rome are off by centuries, which would certainly explain why so many people remember the city being founded by Romulus and Remus. In an alternate timeline, the traditional story goes that Romulus killed his twin brother Remus after the two of them had built the city together. However, there is no historical evidence to support this tale. On October 29, 1962, President John F. Kennedy was shot and killed in Dallas, Texas. This tragic event was witnessed by millions of Americans and was one of the most traumatic moments in U.S. history. However, in the aftermath of the assassination, there were conflicting accounts of what really happened. Some witnesses claimed to have seen a second gunman, while others insisted that there was only one shooter. This discrepancy led to a number of conspiracy theories surrounding JFK's death, but it could also be evidence of the Mandela Effect. In fact, many people today have no memory of the assassination whatsoever. They believe it was a hoax, or that it never happened at all. One of the most famous landmarks in the world is the Sydney Opera House, a massive performing arts center located in Sydney, Australia. The building was designed by Danish architect Jørn Utzon and opened in 1973. Many people claim to remember the opera house looking different, with some insisting that it has always looked the way it does now. This discrepancy could be explained by the Mandela Effect, as the Sydney Opera House was actually redesigned in 2003. But even before that, the building underwent several renovations, which may have contributed to the confusion. The Mandela Effect is a fascinating phenomenon that has captured the attention of people around the world. While there is no scientific evidence to support the idea that we are slipping between parallel universes, the sheer number of people who experience shared false memories is hard to ignore. Perhaps there is something to this theory after all. What do you think? Is the Mandela Effect proof that we are jumping between dimensions? Or can it be explained by more rational means? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking videos. Thanks for watching.